All right, what's up? This is part 4 of when do you know that you have it, when you know you make your breakthrough. Now, again, we talked about the haters that you got to have. You got to have the hate from the guys. That's a gimme. The women are going to start to see certain negative things in you, calling you assholes, jerks. You're also going to get it from the couples because a woman that's in a relationship is going to realize that you're more fun than her husband or boyfriend or her roommate, and they're going to begin to reach out to you. You're going to get a lot of women that are in relationships that are going to start to reach out to you. That's how you know. But now let's get to the fourth one. Now, the fourth one is very amazing. You see, most women nowadays, people nowadays, they have what is known as pod relationships. And pod relationships consist of like what? 3 guys, 2 girls, 4 women, 3 guys. I mean, it's just, they just like hang out with the food. But other than the male haters, these guys have a little bit of hate, but what you got to understand and to realize if you're doing it right, what they do for you. You have to understand at the end of the day, I tell you, the 98 out there, the 98 percenters out there do more work for you than you do for yourself, and you don't even realize it. But when do you know you have a breakthrough? Because it's the pods that really push everything over the edge. See, most of these guys, they hang out with women. They hang out with women because they hope the sun, the moon, the stars are all going to line up and she's going to see you as boyfriend material. And they hang around and they handcuff, they helicopter over these women and cock block every guy out there because they think they're dating these women. How do you know you made the breakthrough? It's this easy and this fucking simple. You have 2 types of guys in these pod relationships, okay? You've got what I call Mr. Salt, and you got Mr. Fairy Tale. And Mr. Salt and Mr. Fairy Tale kind of work the same, but they work a little bit different. You see, the thing that happens when a woman begins to notice things about you, what really pushes her over the edge is not necessarily you. What pushes her over the edge is the 98% of the guys working for guys like us. You see, Mr. Fairy Tale, his rule of the game, okay? Because remember, in the game, these guys have jobs. The job, and we will talk about the job of the 98 maybe in the next video, but the job of Mr. Fairy Tale is to always put the woman on a pedestal. He gets his Paul Bunyan shirt on, go get Blue the Ox, goes down to the redwood forest, cuts down a tree, puts her on a pedestal. Tell her how beautiful she is. Tell her how special she is. Tell her how important she is. Telling her that, you know what, you don't need someone like him. Because what he does is he reaffirms what she's thinking. You don't need that guy. He's such an asshole. He's such a jerk. All he does is think for himself. He doesn't care about you. That's Mr. Fairy Tale. You're beautiful. You deserve somebody better. You shouldn't even think about that guy. And what he doesn't understand, and this is part of your breakthrough, is that this guy is pushing the woman towards you. You see, I keep telling you, your greatest enemy is not the woman. It is it's the 98. The 98 hate you so much that they think by doing the second thing, we'll talk about the second one because he's the most important one. He's the most important one because I gotta help you with this one. I'm about to break this down. I'll tell you about Mr. Salt in a second. But Mr. Fairy Tale is the one that's always going to cupcake this woman, going to tell her how great she is, how beautiful she is, and how she is so much better than you are, and she shouldn't be messing with a guy like you. Okay? Now, Let's talk about the greatest one of all of them. Now, see, I talked to y'all about most of the guys out there that hate, that do work for you. But one thing that these guys don't understand is that women read and watch guys that hate other guys. You see, it's the Mr. Salts of the world that really push the woman over that edge with guys like us. Because if other guys hate that guy, what is it about that guy that even other guys hate on this guy for? And what that does is that intrigues women. Now let's get to Mr. Salt. You see, Mr. Salt is in the first group of guys I talked about. Because when they are in those pod relationships, what do you think they doing to a motherfucking man? They're throwing salt on this motherfucking game. And what they do is they think the more they try to put our business on the street, they think the woman is not going to like us. Mr. Salt is the guy that says, well, he's seeing other women. Mr. Salt is the guy that says, oh, fuck you, you ain't shit, you ain't this and you ain't that. Mr. Salt is the guy that tells the women everything he possibly can to make that woman not like that guy. But what these guys do not understand is that is the thing that intrigues women. Because women also know that there are competitive guys out there, but there are also the 98. And they know the 98 behaves like them. Emotional. You see, it's the emotional aspect of the 98% that pushes you over to really you getting that breakthrough. Because the 98% is going to be like, oh, look at him. All he does is talk to women. Oh, look at him. Who does he think he is? Remember, he's so arrogant. He's such an asshole. Fuck him. What does he know? See, when a woman sees emotional in a 98% male, and a 98%er, let's call him like that. When a woman sees the emotional in them, she sees herself in that. And what happens is she gets more intrigued by the guy that's being talked about than the one that's sitting there throwing the salt. So one thing you got to understand is it's not a bad thing when people are mad at you and hate you and talk bad about you. Because what happens is it makes her want to see, well, wait a second. What is it about this guy that not only women are intrigued by, but what is it about this guy that makes other guys not like him? And then what they want to do is they want to check and see what's down that rabbit hole. They want to know what's around that corner, and that's part of the breakthrough. Part of the breakthrough is the 98, and we'll talk about that because there are rules to the game, and it's got to be the way it is. It has to be this way. But the beautiful thing about the 98 that you got to love, or really the Mr. Salts of the world, is that they don't understand the more salt they throw on you, the more women are going. Let me tell you something. I had this guy real quick, and this happens a lot. I'm just going to use somebody else. I'm not even going to use me. Had a guy that finally we made a breakthrough. He made a breakthrough. He was on Facebook, and everybody was sitting there complaining about women. He manned the fuck up, and you know, we talk about taking accountability. He checked everybody. He's like, hey, man, why y'all cupcaking? Why y'all, use my word cupcaking. Why y'all always cupcaking when it comes to these women? Why don't you just man the fuck up and tell them what the fuck you think? And what happened was all the guys in there, he showed me the post, they turned on him. And they started saying, oh, you a bitch, you weak, you ain't shit, look at you. You want to kiss these women's ass. And you know the funny thing happened. This guy, I tell you about another guy. But this guy right here, he started to get an influx of emails in his messenger from women. And it wasn't the fact that he said, suck it up and be accountable for your fucking actions and shit. It was the women like asking him, why are they so mad at you? All you were just doing was being honest. Hey, how you doing? My name is, and he was like, wait a second. It was like the Halloween game all over again. He's like, what the fuck is going on here? See, sometimes when you have guys throwing salt on you, it is going to push women towards you. Because the thing that women know that these guys don't know is that a real man doesn't knock another man's success. A real man uplifts other men. But a real man checks other males to educate them on how to be real men. And those are some of the things that intrigue women that these guys don't know. That's why I always tell you at the end of the day, if you want to know you got the breakthrough, you got to realize that you got to have people hating what you do. And it's not, and if you don't believe me, ask yourself, what successful person do you know? What successful athlete do you know does not have people that hate him? But the thing is have a lot of women that love, adore, and want to be a part of his world. So that is something you guys got to think about in the game. Now, what we'll do is in the next part, we'll talk about how the 98% works for us. And we'll discuss that next, or not next, but later on. I just want to do a 4-part thing for you guys. I'm the motherfucking Dean, man, and I'll holler at y'all later. If y'all want to get at me at the manmindset@gmail.com. Peace.